Let's just
All
go
right.
for it. Edel can join in whenever he can. So we're like trying out. I guess this is his first time trying out like grocery pickup. So you just order on the app. But they're, I don't know if they're like super busy, but they were so delayed.
Probably are.
So I don't know
Probably
what's
are.
going on there.
Is everything like far apart where you guys live too? Like like how Los Angeles, everything's like 45 to an hour and a half apart.
Well, no, not like that. Not to the lengths of the states, because especially where we are, we're pretty close to a grocery store. Actually, it's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see why that takes a long. It could take a long time. I mean, if everything's backed up and you gotta wait.
yeah.
There's probably not as many volunteers as well driving the groceries, or employees, I guess, driving the
No,
groceries
there's
out.
still
Maybe.
quite a few employees. I don't know. The groceries are just like normal. Like it's still any other day, essentially. It's just that sometimes there's lines in front waiting to
Yeah, I
get in.
think that
That's
they
crazy.
told me this. Like they said, normally you order it and it comes on a certain day, which isn't that far. But like they told me that they've had to wait like a few more days past when their groceries are supposed to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's just been taking much longer. So
Mm-hmm.
when they order, that's over here though, man. Traffic here is crazy. Like to get through anyway. Well, it's kind of weird. There's no traffic now. Still, I guess there's so much backlog now since people can't. They'd rather not go out to grocery stores. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I still have to. We still have to.
Yeah, yeah. We still do
Veggies don't
too.
last very long.
No, toilet paper's been alright for us though.
No
It's the
shortages over there?
towel. Huh?
No shortages over there?
There was. It's just that I'd say most Filipinos know how to maximize their usage of toilet paper.
Or just like don't use them for now? And
Yeah, don't use it at all. You gotta use one for the first initial, and then one to
and
dry
then
it up.
yeah. There you go. Sounds good.
Everything in between is a nice wash.
Yes, exactly. All
So
right. So I
I mean, I'm
think
surprised we haven't because like now that we're all in the house, I'm surprised that uh, we haven't ran out so quick. You know,
yeah,
like
it's true. Well, it's funny cuz like how much like number 2s are people expecting when they're hoarding toilet paper? It's kind of crazy, but whatever. But I
weird,
guess yeah,
right?
you're at home more, so maybe.
I guess so, man.
I don't know.
I can understand paper towels, maybe, but then you can use rag.
That one's
Uh,
there's no shortage of that anymore. I don't think. Like going to
Paper towel.
Costco, it was at night. It was still there. Definitely no paper or toilet paper, but there was still paper towels. So, and it was on sale. So pretty interesting.
So in essence, it's probably not the shortage that people are worried about. It's probably just having to wait in those long ass lines. So when they're there, they just want to get as much as they can, so they don't have to wait in another like 2 hour line and stuff.
Maybe, but
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Because if I had, I guess if I go out, like I want to get what I can while I'm out, so I don't have to make multiple trips. The only problem for
that's
us, we
true.
have this. Everything in London is small, so we don't even have a full size fridge in our little flat here. We got like a looks like a
Uh
college kid's fridge, man.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
A
You have to
beer
make it.
fridge.
You have to get it to fit. That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly. So we
Yeah,
can't go out and buy like tons of stuff all at once and dump it in our fridge. We
yeah.
just get what we can, and then we go to the. They have Tesco's here. I don't know. Do you guys have Tesco over there?
No, that's you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's like our. I don't know if that's.
It's like a corner store
I
for
don't
you
know.
guys, right?
Yeah, it's like a corner store, but they have
Yeah.
the big supermarket Tesco's, it's like the big
Oh,
Targets or whatever. But then they have these things called Tesco Express, and they're just like local down the street, connected to gas stations like AM
right.
PM or something like that. And you can get your stuff there.
Well, that's not
So
bad. Yeah, fair enough.
streams on, right?
Yeah, it's. Let's make sure it's on.
How's it
It is
working?
on now. Looks all right. Just gonna check the health. Looks good. Okay, so I guess we should talk about more cultural stuff again. Let's go back to that. And then yeah,
Toilet paper
I don't know what's.
and-
Edel can join whenever. Um,
yeah,
but
so
yeah, I don't know if anybody's actually watching. I just sent the link out to our youth actually, so we'll see if
oh, you
they
do
can
it.
tune in. But
Okay, right on.
in
Yeah,
terms,
I just told my brother right now. I said, "Hey, man, we're gonna do this." I know. What's the link, anyways?
oh yeah, I can link you. I might as well. Where are you at? There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally new to this.
So am I. But
That's so
yeah, even Discord, I'm just like, how do I get pictures up here?
yeah. You how
Such
did
an
you
old
figure
man.
that out? Yeah, I know. I feel like my dad, man. Because like when I was a kid, like he's the one that set up the stereo and everything like that. And back
Right.
then, they had to like splice the wire, stick it in, all this other stuff. And then
That's
like
true.
by the time I was a teenager, my dad didn't know how to do any of that. He's like, "You have to read the instruction. I don't know how to do that." I don't know if he was just saying that because he didn't want to do it, but then, um, you know, I
There's
did
that
lessons.
factor too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I,
All right.
so,
So I guess for the sake of the actual podcast and the recording, um, I don't know. I guess this is our first pilot of Culture Talk, where we're just going to be talking about, our Igorot culture. Um, we we're both part of what do you call it? Groups that um, are trying to, I don't know, learn more about our heritage and just trying to preserve the our culture's teachings and anything around that. There's a lot, and definitely don't claim to know everything. I definitely don't. Mark knows way more than I do. That's why
still
he's
learning.
here. So, but
Everybody's
for
still learning.
exactly, it's just continuous, right? It's hard to
Mhm.
put all that information together,
Right.
um, because yeah, again, historically, we've had this conversation before. The way we pass down information is just through stories and talking to each other. So there's not a lot of literature for us. I mean, I don't know. Is there a lot? Am I
There
lying?
is a lot of research. There is a lot
Mm,
of research, but it's not very layperson. Definitely for the academic, and
right.
you got to go through this stuff with a certain drink lots of coffee, and and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got to
yeah.
read through it,
Exactly.
and sometimes, especially if you're like born abroad, you're part of the diaspora. Uh, it might be just a little bit more challenging. So I think in the future, when what we hope to do is like maybe somehow like gather information like that and make it a little bit more accessible. And also one of the things that we talked about this like coming after the IIC 12, was it 12? The one that we helped run.
Yes.
One of the things we wanted to do was really accrue stories of all the older folk, and that was one
Right.
of the resolutions that we wanted to do. But still, it's still they move slow because life happens, right? But I mean, I think that's one of the best ways that we can learn about the cultures by like talking to as many old folks while they're still alive, you know, and then
Exactly.
finding out what's going back home at home in the Philippines, finding out the experience of like those abroad who were able to learn from the old folks before they passed away.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the things I was hoping to try to do, visiting
Mm.
Philippines earlier this year for ISC, but it just never happened. There just wasn't enough time, but
Never
um,
enough time, man. Never enough time.
no, that's the thing. I visit a lot of family, which is cool because I visited family I've never seen, or went to places never seen. Like went to Apio for the first time, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, in
Yeah,
terms
dude.
of collecting information, yeah, that didn't happen. But
It's hard,
it,
man.
it was
Plus,
cool going there though.
yeah, man,
Even
there are certain people too that you want to know. Like when you go out there, like Annalyn, what's her name?
right,
Professor Annalyn. She's the one that wrote that book on the tattoos. She's
yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
Did you get a chance to go out to the museum, Boggy Museum, and talk to her
I
at
did.
all?
I didn't talk to her, but I went to the museum. Is that the one in at EP?
Uh, that was in Baguio, no?
There's yeah, there's two museums. There's the Baguio Museum and there's the Cordillera Museum, which is the newer one.
I
Because
think it's the newer one. The
I went
newer
to
one.
both,
And yeah,
and the the new one is really nice, super modern. But yeah, they hopefully they get more relics and things. There was a lot of textiles and those types of stuff, but
right, right.
I was hoping for more artifacts and stuff, which actually the Baguio Museum had. So maybe that's why I was thinking that because we went there first, and you saw a lot of older things. There was even like a mummy there, which was interesting, but no tattoos. But there was one there. I was like, what? Really? It's crazy. Um,
Wow, okay.
yeah, and
Oh
then
well, they didn't
going.
unwrap it. That's all right. Or you could actually see the body.
You could see the body.
So the skin was all leathery, no tat. How this must
I
have been.
didn't. I didn't see tattoo. It was also dark in that area, so I don't. I didn't see any
Oh,
tattoos.
okay, I see. I see. That's
But,
interesting.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good start for sure. I hope it's maintained and they get more things in. I mean, it'd be pretty cool once they
She,
get
if you
bigger.
can get a chance to talk to her, she is. I remember just chatting with her. She was telling me about these different resources that I can contact, especially regarding gangsa,
Right?
and the dances and stuff. And
Was she a
I'm
part
always
of
trying to learn
opening
more.
that museum?
I think she was, yeah.
She was.
I
Oh,
think so. Yeah, because she was totally promoting. Well, oh, she came here to London before the IIC, and
right,
we did some workshops with SOAS, which is one of the universities out here, and
right,
they were doing a spotlight on Igorot folk and different
right.
aspects of the culture. Hers was focusing on the tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
and she also had a lot of material on the museum just to promote it and stuff, and so I'm sure that she was part of that, especially with the research on the tattoos.
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing too. I didn't actually spend that much time in Baguio, so that was it was hard just doing anything in Baguio.
Oh, that's true
So
because you went all the way up to Apaya.
yeah, we
Huh?
we stayed in each place like except for maybe in the beginning we stayed in Saitan for a few days, but then every other place was like 2 days max, or two
Oh
nights
yeah,
max. It's crazy. So
it is crazy. It is
yeah,
crazy, especially
it
when you
was
kind of got a time limit
yeah.
with your family and work.
Yeah, that's the problem. Well, that's the thing. I was like, I didn't even use all my vacation because I'm like, there's the rest of the year. Like, I'm gonna have no vacation. But I guess it didn't really matter. I should have just used it.
Oh boy, yeah.
But actually, it was a good time when we came back because that's when everything started shutting down. I'm like, all right, well, I guess that worked
You
out too.
came back just before they started shutting things down.
Yeah, something like that, or at least
Crazy.
just before the pandemic started getting big, or it wasn't even pandemic then, but yeah, they started really looking at it, right? Because it was mid February we came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, second to third week of February. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
March.
was good we got back.
Yeah, no. That's Yeah, we had another cousin that almost got stuck there. And luckily, Duterte opened the gates to let the last group out, and so
Right,
he was able to fly back.
right.
And
Well,
yeah, we wanted to go to that. We really wanted to go to the IC, but like had issues with my passport over here, and it's
yeah, that's
ridiculous.
fine.
Man.
I think a
Can't
lot
go
of
anywhere.
people dropped out too after the volcano went. So
Oh yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't really know what happened, but it was interesting. Well, you know what? Maybe we should talk about. Oh, we haven't. Sorry, we haven't really introduce ourselves properly, have we?
Okay.
So I guess I can go first. So my name's Gerald Latin, and I am from Vancouver, BC, Canada, part of the Bebug Vancouver group here. And maybe a little bit about my background. My dad is from, well, he grew up in Apayao, but I'm sure he's from Mountain Province. Everybody moved around. And my mom grew up in Benguet, but she is probably also from Mountain Province somewhere. So that's my
Yeah, it's
background. So
typical the migration.
exactly, everybody moves
Yeah.
around. So, and
So
you?
my name is Mark Sapatan Watan, and I'm originally from San Francisco, California. And geez, yeah, now I reside in the UK, in London with
Talk
my wife.
about migration now.
Yeah, migration. So yeah, I'm a migrant in London. But yeah, I was part of BBAC of Northern California, and then now supporting Igorot UK, which is the big umbrella organization. In the UK, there's many different organizations that are all under the umbrella of Igorot UK. So there's just for Mountain Province alone, you can just imagine how many different organizations there are for each municipality and stuff. Like Basau has their own one, Sagada has their own one, and then like they're it's all under it's all the different municipalities and provinces. They all represent under Igor because there's a lot of folks out here.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's been
pretty
pretty
it's
yeah.
pretty interesting how that works. I feel like yours is a little bit different because for us, Bebuk, I mean, yeah, it's hard to say because we have those other groups as well, but and that results in less people attending Bebuk because they're all
Yeah,
attending their own group events and all of that. But yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting
I
topic
think
by
that's a
itself.
common. It's actually a common history, like amongst a lot of the Igorot community all around the world. I'd say like in the same things happen also in the states in different areas. Like they wanna have their own thing going on, so they kind of move away from the mother organization, which is usually
Right,
Abiba, and
right.
that's the same thing. Igorot UK just it used to be mainly Igorot UK, and that they didn't really use the name Bebop. Although they did end up having another Bebop group here, but I don't really know what happened to that. But my wife could probably explain that history. But the original group was Igor UK that was made in the '90s after the first IIC, and
Oh, that was okay. So it wasn't
yeah,
even
that's,
Bebuk.
yeah, it was. Because I think it was kind of a way to be a little bit different and stuff, and
Interesting.
to be unique. But
Right.
I'm sure the elders here could be more. They could talk about it, like my wife's mom. But yeah, they there was a lot of immigration that happened within that time from the '90s on till now, and a lot of different communities, and a lot of folks wanted to just have their own thing. You know how that is.
I
It's
mean,
typical, not even just amongst Igorots, but like just Filipinos in general.
fair enough. Like, even at IAC, I mean, there it's not just Bebuk that come, right? So it's like
Yeah,
they've all changed their names, and then even I think the one that's happening here, they're debating on whether to add another A into Bebuk even because
for
right because
Abra.
of the for no for Apayo. Or yeah,
Apayo was already
you're right.
there.
You're right, Abra. Well,
Yeah, usually.
K was there for Apayo Kalinga, right?
Originally, Bebak is like Benguet Ifugao Bontok. They just because they wanted to keep the old name instead of Mountain Province. Well, there's BMAC in East Coast of the United States, but
Yep,
instead of
there's that
yeah,
as
instead of
well.
Bontok, they use Mountain Province, and then there's Apaya Kalinga. Usually, it's Apaya Kalinga that the A and the K is Apaya Kalinga. But now there's like Bibaak. so they're like adding the A for Abra as well.
Well, that's the
Usually,
thing. I also heard that originally it was Abra and then Apayo Kalinga for the K. So they wanted to make sure the A, I guess whether it's Apayo or Abra, was represented with
I
another
don't
A,
know.
like Bebak. So
You mean
I
all
don't
the way
know.
back in the 50s when they first started as a
Oh,
college organization? You talking about back then or recently?
well, back then, yeah, didn't wasn't that A for Abra?
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I thought it was and then Kalinga.
Because
But
I thought it was Abra and then Apayo Kalinga on the with a K.
if
I don't
someone
know.
does watch this, I'm sure they're gonna put it. They're gonna put it in the comments. Something.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope somebody
You
says
idiot.
something about that.
but
Yeah. At
there's
least
a
that
lot of organizations that have added the A already.
exactly. So that's the thing. I've seen the A added now. I've seen BMAC as well. There's the one in the Vienna one is Rambach, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know if any other ones, but
there's quite a few now. Everyone's adding Abra because there's so many, basically so many people who migrated to Abra. A lot of Bago people, like the folks from Mountain Province who moved
yeah,
down as well. So
yeah. No,
yeah,
and I think that's fine. Like it's good that everybody should really be represented, but
yeah,
yeah, it's in terms of I guess legal things, it's not that simple. Just to add an A, another A or whatever it is.
yeah. Everybody
But
wants to be included. That's a Filipino thing.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we don't really want to exclude anybody, and that's the thing too. Like with our group, I remember back then. So, I actually used to be, well, I guess for those who don't know, I used to be the Bebop youth president within um, Bebop Vancouver. So, what we saw there was we didn't see any Abra people. There's barely any Abra people. So I don't know if that extra A was really talked about or whichever, but I mean, I don't actually think there's much Abra people going to Bebop right now, but we definitely in the youth group there are a couple, and there's apparently a community of them here, which is pretty interesting. So because the only people I ever knew was this older couple from a long time ago,
Yeah,
and they were the only two that represented it, and
yeah. It
and
all had to do with like who had access to the potential to immigrate, and
right, that's true too.
so
But
that's why like you're starting to see that now, like within the last like 20 years or 15, yeah, probably 20 years, like you're starting to see more Abra people now. Like in the UK too, it's the same thing. There's an Abra community, and there's
oh,
a lot of the whole thing where some people maybe didn't even understand their own root, or
right,
like there's some folks who just learned that they had Igorot ancestry, and they're Tengian or something like that. Well, I met some over here, and
oh,
they, yeah, yeah, they're they're like they came to a workshop that I was running for Gangsa, and she, I'm like, how come I haven't seen her in any of the gatherings. And then she explained why. It was because, I mean, she was starting to work with the Filipino community, but she never realized that she actually had Igorot blood. So
oh, interesting.
yeah, some folks, and that has a lot to do with like the way that Igorot folks were treated before, and so some people even felt like they had to hide their culture. Especially if they moved away from the mountains, and
Right.
some people kind of possibly in fear didn't want to. They just or just didn't even talk about it with their kids. So then the next thing they know, a generation later, they're like, "Oh, what? Very good. You have your blood? What? Or
Yeah, that's a
so.
good point, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there was a
'Cause-
lot of that. Like, because people were really cruel, man. They were really cruel. And I remember even to my sister, my brother's wife, what would still get like, I mean, made fun of as a kid. She's half Ilocano and half Igorot from Ifuga. And when they found out that her dad was from Ifuga, man, they just totally laid into her. When she was
yeah.
living in the lowlands, they would like throw rocks at her. stuff like that, and it was bad, man.
Oh,
It was
legit,
bad.
just throwing rocks. Wow. No,
Yeah,
that's the thing. I've heard stories about that of people, yeah, straight up bullying, just like because,
yeah.
yeah, straight up
I mean,
discrimination.
that's why
I
even
mean,
to this day, like you see a lot of Igorot folks are very like still cautious about their Filipino brethren, lowland brethren, because it's kind of like I wonder, they come in, they're just already. The first thing you think about is like, oh, how are you judging me? Are you judging me? What do you think of me as an Igorot? But there's so much more pride within the last like I don't know since the 90s. I'd say post IIC 1. There's been such a growth in pride and education amongst our own people that you don't see it that much with the young folks. In fact, if you tell that to most young, especially if they grew up abroad, they wouldn't even know that.
yeah,
They wouldn't
exactly.
even know about this stuff.
Well, that's the thing I heard. Exactly. I've just heard stories like from my parents and other people that grew up in Philippines
Oh
of that
yeah, yeah,
happening.
yeah.
But it's still, I don't know. It's still kind of happening now, but it's a little bit more subtle. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And it's just a lot of people just. I mean, like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna go. We might get it. We might go there, but like, talking about like, people even knowing that our culture's still alive. I mean, like if like when like they won't even know certain areas. Like they might know about Sagada and Baguio, but if you talk about anything else like Bontoc, or if you say, "Oh, my family's from the mountain province," Sagada, near Sagada, there's a place called Masla or something, like Tajan, and if you try to
right.
explain those areas, they wouldn't even know, man. You can only say Baguio, and then they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it." And but then when if you even go further and try to explain that, "Oh yeah, we're Igorot," they won't believe you, or they'll just think most of the time, especially if they're lowlanders, they just won't accept it. They won't, because it's like I don't know, man. It's like seeing a unicorn sometimes for some folks, because they don't know the culture is still alive. We
Yeah,
just blend in with the rest of them, right?
it's true. But then we get people making comments like, and I know Auntie Soul gets it's quite quite vocal about it. So when she gets comments from people like, "Oh, you're from that place," or "You're Igorot," and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just make, I don't know, make little comments like that. She gets very defensive, and then I guess I could understand from when they grew up, and it's just
Oh
like,
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah. I had
it's really interesting.
yeah, my ex girlfriend. Don't worry, Wendy. This is applicable, okay? Wendy's my wife, but my ex girlfriend. I remember the family. Um, she told me that they told her when they found out that I was a Igorot, they like warned her. They said, you know, be careful. He's Igorot. Those people are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I think
That's
I
crazy.
my wife's even my wife had something with her ex boyfriend's mom that said something similar to him about Wendy's family. They're Igorot. You have to be careful. Because in their mind they think of Igorots as headhunters. That's the only image, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what? We were, so like, so what, right?
What do you mean were?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's yeah,
That's the
yeah, I
history.
don't know.
It is what it is, right?
It's true, but it's like, yeah, it's just it's like dealing with racism nowadays. It's just like it's still there, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But
You
it's
just
within your own people, I guess.
yeah, that makes it almost worse. I don't know. I don't even know how to
It's
comment
kind
on
of
that, but
rough. It's a little rough. There's so many layers to this. There's even layers of like if you're born as a second generation abroad from the out of the Philippines. There's those kind of layers that happen. Like
right.
how far is he really Filipino, or is he a coconut or an Oreo or
Uh,
banana? Right?
but
Which shade you want, right?
jeez,
Yeah, a lot of
it's
layers,
true.
man.
It's true. It's true. Sorry, I just saw
But
a comment on here. Yeah, Justice,
oh,
one of our youth here was just saying that, yeah, from his understanding as well, he feels like the A represents Abra. Yeah, just because Kalinga Apayao was one province. So that was what I was thinking, or that's what I understood. That's why I thought Abra was there, but it seems like people forget that it's Abra and people say that it's Apayao. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but but there is
Because
no Abra
I
people
know,
to defend it.
yeah, where I grew up from, they always used it as Apayo, but I don't know the exact history if it was originally Abra. You know,
I
be
think it makes
interesting to
sense
ask some of the
because
old timers and find out. But it probably,
yeah,
who knows? It probably was Abra. Abra.
yeah, it makes sense because they were one province before, right?
Right, right.
And even then though that's one thing actually going back there, because they have Kalinga Day and Apayao Day on was it um, February 14th actually. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's when they split up. Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So
Wow.
yeah, it'd be
That's a
pretty
lot
cool
of
to.
partying, though, man. That's good times.
Oh, they were getting ready. The city was getting ready, but I don't know if I don't know if they canceled the whole thing, but they made it less.
Oh, because of the COVID stuff?
Yeah, yeah. They didn't make it as big, I think, but I don't think they canceled it. But yeah, that's when the COVID stuff was still starting. But it would have been cool to be around for that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Maybe in Napayo, for sure. Like we were. Oh yeah, one of the things we were trying to get there was those tapis and everything for Audrey, and then it was hard to
Mm.
get an Napayo one. We had
It's
to
hard to
resort.
get a good one, like a
Yeah,
really old school made with the proper fabric.
yeah, and I think one of my aunts there was like offering to give Audrey one, Audrey, my wife, and we were like, no, we felt so bad we didn't want to take it, but
Oh, like one of the original ones, her own.
yeah, her own like old one, but I don't know, I felt bad, I didn't want to take it, so I was like,
Oh,
it's okay.
speaking of, yeah,
I think we can get one made. It's just that we have to order it ahead, and we didn't really think about that. So we thought we'd be able to just find a place that where we could get something that they just made then. But in
right,
Kalinga,
right.
you can definitely do that because they have a commercial weaving place. Justice actually, and his cousin I think brought us to the place, but it was closed when he went, so he couldn't really do anything.
Oh, of
But
course, that's
yeah,
the luck, right?
exactly. But we saw the loons out and everything, so yeah. So at least they have it there. It's accessible, but I don't think there's anything like that in the bio. So we'll see. Maybe in the coming years
Yeah,
they'll start doing that.
most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of folks. The diaspora's getting bigger, man. The diaspora's getting bigger, and more of the young folks wanna learn, which is awesome. You know.
I know. I find that super super interesting because before it was like I remember being dragged to these events and it's like why do I go? Why do you have to go? Why are you making me go? But
Yeah.
it just ended up being. Oh, I think Edel's joining us. It just.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Where's
That's
where's
like
your
everybody
Yo.
down here, man.
where's your video?
Hold on, give me 1 second.
But yeah, it just ended up being like a place to hang out with the other guys there.
Well, sometimes the fellowship's important. You know what I mean? Sometimes the fellowship's important. What's up, man?
It's true.
Long time no see.
Long
Still got the
time.
long hair going on, or what?
No.
Whoa!
Was good.
Yeah.
So we've been rambling on here for a while. Just like I don't know if you're in the background listening. I'm not sure if you're in or not.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. That's fine
Yeah,
though.
just randomly talking about all kinds of stuff about the culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going in flow,
Don't let me distract you. Keep going.
or
It's
just add
fun.
in, man.
Yeah.
We were just talking about like trying to find like different clothes for like the apaya weave and stuff.
Mhm.
Seems it's quite challenging to find like a
Yeah.
good one.
Mm.
Yeah. For a bio, for sure. I mean, yeah, Kalinga, you should be able to find there.
Yeah.
Actually, we got some stuff there, so it was pretty good. We all have
Um,
Kalinga stuff. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
But
Data Mountain Province.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, if you really want to get anything, I guess it'll have to be Easter weaving, but it's just it can be quite pricey.
Yeah, man, the prices have gone up.
At
It's all
least
these dancers, man.
it's
Well, they're all getting. They figured it out.
it's it's true. I mean, I guess it's good quality there at least, but
Yeah, they do make good quality stuff there, and you got to think of this stuff as something you're gonna hand down as well. So, know. Speaking of like walnuts and stuff like that, man. Did I tell you that mine was stolen?
No.
Dude, man, this is the one from my great grandfather.
No way.
Passed down. It was
really,
handed down, like passed down, passed down, passed down, and in fact, the funny thing was like my uncle was gonna actually give it to somebody in Canada like years ago. And at that time, I asked him. I said, "Hey, uncle, is there anything that we have left over from great grandpa?" And he said, "Yeah, here. I was just about to mail this out. So I don't know which one of you guys was gonna get it." But
oh,
he handed it to me. He said, "Here, you can use this since you're the one that's most interested, right?" And I had that for years, and um, I went to this conference in well, where did we have it in Austria? Not Austria, sorry, in Amsterdam.
oh,
And it was Igorot, the European version of IIC. And when it was so hot, I sweated all over it, and I said to myself, I gotta dry clean this thing. I gotta clean this thing up. And so my wife goes, put it in the car, get it ready, so we'll just bring it to the dry cleaner and stuff. And I said okay, so I put it in there. Right, man, then someone breaks in, and they took all the stuff that I had, like my top, and my walnut, and they threw some stuff out in the middle of the street. I guess they didn't want it, but the one thing that they took, of all the things that they took, was the walnut, the G string,
Jeez.
and
what?
man,
That's crazy.
yeah, they must have thought it was a scarf or something. I don't know, or a table lamp. Or someone's might have it like on their table, not knowing that shit was on my ass.
Yeah.
And it for months I was devastated, dude. Like I couldn't get it out of my head because like slowly someone found one of the vest, the chaleco, like the vest. Someone found it a couple blocks down the road. One
No
of
way.
my wife's cousins said, "I found this. It was hanging on a fence." I was like, "Did you find
Wow.
the walnuts?" And she couldn't find it, man. It kills me because that was our family heirloom. And
That's
luckily, we
crazy.
still have my grandmother's tape, and my other grandmother's tape. So we have those, but my great grandfather's walnuts is gone. I don't know. Someone's using it or dumped it, man. Driving me crazy, dude.
That's wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, you steal that kind of stuff, man, they get cursed, so
Actually,
That's true. That's true.
you don't mess with that.
when did this happen?
I I can't remember anymore. I must have tried to erase it from my head, but it was just last year.
Last year.
Oh, it was just
Yeah, last
recent. Wow.
year. It must
Shit.
have been like maybe November or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might have been November. So
Oh
it's
my
pretty still kind of recent and a little bit just it was either November or October, and yeah, man, that one hurt a lot.
Ooh.
Just because the only thing the only thing that I've done to reconcile it is just to be happy that I was even able to use
Wear
it, wear it, and
Yeah.
have it for a time. I was really worried my parents were gonna get soap, but they
Yeah.
really kind of consoled me about it in a
Yeah.
weird way. Like you're usually getting ready for that like big smack, right,
Yeah,
from your
yeah.
parents.
When you're younger.
Even as an adult, I'm like 40 something now, and
Yeah.
I still think about that. When I told them, they were just like, at least you had it for a while. At least you had
Yeah.
it for a while, and
True.
I got
Mm.
pictures in it, and it just sucks because you can't pass that down. So
Mm.
True, eh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, That's yeah. I don't know. That seems so specific in what they wanted to take.
Mm.
Like
I don't get it, man. They
that's
left the vest.
crazy.
I had my vests in there. I had
Huh.
my kids' North Face jackets. They stole that.
Mm.
That
Huh.
makes sense, right?
Right.
Okay. But man, it was just so weird. Of all the things they took, I mean, I would have been okay because the vests weren't old. The vests we got them a long time ago.
Mm.
This was my grandfather's one, this
Yeah.
the G string, and
Yeah.
man, that just killed me. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair
it is
enough.
what it is, though. Sometimes you just gotta like let it go, even though
Yeah.
it's that precious, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, can't do much about that. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
true. At least you had it for a bit. You were able to use it, and you have pictures of
yeah.
that. But yeah,
It was just
it's true. It's
so
time for you
whatever
to.
you.
It's time for you to
What's
get
up?
one, and then to pass on.
I guess so. Start a new line.
Exactly.
I gotta think about that next time I order it. I'll try and get it to the exact specifications. The cool thing about this was that
Oh.
it was super long because I heard my great grandfather was like a pretty big dude.
Mm.
Okay.
They called him because the our last name is Watan, but the real name was Owatan. They said that means like big, like big veins or big or like strong river. But then the other meaning is big eater. And they said he used to eat a lot because he was just a big dude. He wasn't obese. He was just big boned and stuff and really strong. So, um, like yeah, it's just really. Wait, where am I? What am I talking about now?
Your
The
great
What was
witness.
I?
grandpa.
I got a brain
recreating
fart. It's like 12
recreating the
o'clock.
witness.
Huh?
Recreating the witness.
Oh, recreate. Yeah, yeah. So like it was super long. Like most walnuts they only wrap maybe once or twice, right? His like wrap. When I was skinny, it used to wrap almost 4 times around me.
Really?
Then when I got
Nice.
big, then it wrapped 3 times. But yeah, man, that he was his walnuts was really long. So it's a lot of fabric actually. The old ones are usually pretty long compared to some of the newer ones, and they
Mm.
probably make the newer ones shorter just because it saves on the fabric.
Mm.
Well,
But
did
when you
did
can
you do
wrap it
the
around like 3 times, then you got enough room so like you can almost make one of the wraps because you don't just wrap everything on underneath. The old people would wrap it one under and then like twice over on top,
Mm.
so that like they can use the extra area to like put things in. Whether it be tools or their tobacco. You
Mm.
know, so they use it as a pocket, and so
right?
that's why they wanted it a little bit longer.
Did
Handy,
you
right? Yeah.
nice? Did
Mm.
you do the extra tail as well?
Yeah,
Because
I
there's
did. I
that
used to do
way.
that one.
I didn't even know about that until Kirby showed us. I was
You
like,
Yeah.
gotta
oh,
have a little
I
bit
had no
extra
idea.
length to be able
Yeah,
to tie it that way.
exactly.
Besides making it, well, like besides the fact that you're not using that much fabrics when you make shorter witness, is there
Mm.
another significance to having the, the difference between a shorter one and a longer one, or is it just purely just saving saving on
I,
fabric?
I I guess it would just be the same on fabric,
Yeah.
you know. But or maybe people don't wear it for practical purpose anymore.
Right.
They hardly wear it for practical purpose. So before they had it long, so they can use it to put things in or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or to hang stuff on or your extra tools. Um, you know, uh, you keep it shorter nowadays just so, because the people don't use it like as an everyday kind of wear anymore.
Yeah, and it's easier to put on.
But we can change that, right? So
Hmm.
Well, it's interesting because we even try to hold ours up now with like belts and stuff. So
yeah, especially if you wear like you can you can like put the belt on especially like if you're gonna play the gong around your waist.
exactly,
Yeah, that I usually do have a belt under there just in case. 'Cause
exactly,
sometimes people want me to play, like especially during the Igorot events, like they want me to play like the Ifuga stuff, and you kind of
right.
do that kind of standing up instead of on the ground. I like to do it standing up, so like I've had one when I didn't have the belt and it fell out, and that was not cool.
Yeah, I've had it fall on me like in the middle of the streets.
But that,
Oh, ouch!
but that's what I mean.
Alright,
I don't know if I would hang tools off of that, but
exactly. Make
maybe
it
they
easier to fall.
maybe they had a better technique than we do. Cause yeah,
You
Probably.
gotta tie it up tight. Tie it up tight, man.
I
But
guess
like
so.
most of the folks, that, if they have bolo or something, they usually have a special belt. Like in the mountain province, have you seen those old belts that have the abalone shell on it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
I
Yeah,
have,
those
but
belts are the ones connected to your the sheath of the bolo.
right,
Mm.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
that's
on
true.
people? What are your thoughts on people wearing jeans under the Winnis?
You mean like
Modern style
But while
jeans?
performing,
I
or
mean having while performing?
while performing?
You're
Yeah.
right. I for some reason I can accept that because versus the underwear being seen.
really?
True, true.
I'm anti. You know what? If you wanna wear underwear, wear thong. Wear a thong underwear instead of like having your underwear be
Boxers,
seen, man.
yeah,
Just the
boxers.
tidy
The
whities
boxers, yeah.
doesn't look as cool. But well, it's not even just about. I think showing your butt cheeks, man. That's a part of it. That's part of that rite of passage for the modern young folks like us. Not that we're so young anymore, but like for this generation. Our ancestors, they didn't care, so why not? You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's
that
true.
I'm all with wearing a thong underwear underneath. That's fine, or at
Modern
least
old
tucking
style.
in the tidy whities so it's not so visible.
True, true.
Fair
This
enough.
is
Fair
for
enough.
performance, though. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Nobody wants their oneness to like fall, and all of a sudden everybody's free balling it, right? But like,
Yeah.
if you put it on right, it's not gonna fall. It's not gonna fall.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
It's true.
That was the lesson that I took.
Yeah, yeah. You put it on right, it won't fall. Especially if you tie it properly in the back and you wrap it
Mhm.
around.
Right.
Yeah.
True. True. How was
What else did you guys talk about before I came and rudely interrupted?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think we did some introductions. Oh yeah, we didn't even let
Oh
you
yeah,
do your
introduce yourself,
introductions,
man.
but
It's
we
live.
just went for introductions. We just went name and then like what organization you're part of and where I guess your parents are from.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot to say where my parents are from.
Oh really?
Where are you
Oops.
guys from?
My parents are from Mountain Province as well, originally. Well, then they moved down to San Gabriel area in the mountain areas. There was a lot of like Igorots who moved
Oh
down, and then they
Mm.
moved into the mountains in San Gabriel. So like that's
So,
a whole nother line in history over there. But mainly
right.
they're originally from
Mountain
from
Province.
Mountain Province area.
Where is San Gabriel?
San Gabriel is in La Union.
La Union.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I think that's where Justice's dad's hometown was as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, right. No, that
because
was
I remember he posted on that. But so
Is
yes,
Igorot?
same thing. Yeah.
Oh, so he's probably is he from the families that moved up into the mountains too?
I don't know exactly. I
he
would assume so. I guess.
he's from the Bono tribe.
Well, oh, Justice says yes.
Yeah. Oh, is
Oh,
he in?
Well,
Oh,
his dad, right? His dad is one that migrated there.
oh, I see.
Great grandparents immigrated from Sagada. There you go.
The great
mm,
grandparents are the ones that moved there. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of Sagada people who moved up there.
mm,
Ah.
Many of the ones that my family is like side is from like so my dad's side my dad's side his mom they're from Sabangan, so from the
mhm.
Tawakan family, and then my dad's like the
Oh.
Sabangan.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's like a lot of folks went up there even from Basao. A lot of Benguet folks went up there into the mountain areas as well in Sagada.
Hmm.
So there's a whole. I guess we're part of that group that they call Bago people. So some Bago, that went up there, but then there's that other group that also went to Abra as well.
Right. I see. I see.
Hmm.
So what are the
Wait,
no?
wait, you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
that's
An hour in, you introduce yourself. Yes.
That's how much I missed. Yeah, I was gonna ask you how much I missed. Okay.
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Okay. My parents are from. My dad's from Bukod, and my mom's from Kabayan.
Okay.
My name is Idol Matias, so I'm from the Matias family. But yeah, so I'm Benguet.
Also,
What I wanted to ask about
oh,
was,
sorry.
how.
Also part of the Vancouver or Bebuck
Oh,
Vancouver
right.
group.
So I'm from the organization that I'm part of is BBUC, BC, and I guess also the Benguet Society or whatever. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're gonna ask something.
Brothers call.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about. So you know how in Benguet there are the different municipalities. Um, those came about politically, or were they always related to like different clans and stuff? And what I wanted to ask about were how clans work and how last names are within the tribes and how that works, like how the I guess the differentiation from like which tribe or which clan you're from and whatnot. Do last names
Oh, that's really
play a
interesting.
role on that at all?
Man, you're getting deep into it already.
Yeah, I know, man.
Oh.
Jeez. So, well, I could talk about name. As far as from what I've been told, I can only talk about my experience of some from what I've read, but not only what I've read, but what I've asked old folks. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So what I've been told before is because like we have last names, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's a result of Christianization because
Sorry,
the
1 second.
last before
Keep
people
going.
were just keep going. All right.
Yeah, keep
Well,
going.
before people were just called like one name, and then you were known as like the son of that person, you know. So like my last name is again I mentioned it before is Watan. It was originally Owatan, but that's because my great grandfather was named Owat. He didn't have people back in the old days didn't have like last names until like Christianity came about, and they needed to organize people, uh, so that they can register them properly and they know which family they're from and stuff, you know. So it that's
Really? Is
why
that where that came from?
yeah, that's a like the Philippines in general was
Oh,
like
that's true.
organized
Yeah,
by
actually.
was organized by names like who lived on what land.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
But
mean, like, we didn't have last names or anything.
not originally. You'd be known as the son of or the daughter of of that person. So like people would just have a name. And the funny thing is that your name could change in your lifetime depending on like what your personality was. So like for example, my wife's family, they're originally, even though their last name is Puutan, right? Their original last name's Gitilin, but their great grandfather was named Puutin. They changed the name to Puutin because of how he was in the community, and so that's why they changed the name.
Interesting.
So you can start off with the name, but it's somewhere along the way. Uh, you turn out to be an asshole. They'll change your name.
That's interesting. I never. I don't think I ever talked to my dad about that, about the names, and because I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think it's changed. They've had theirs for a long time. Huh.
but
Interesting.
definitely a lot of the towns, the towns were, from what I've known, it's like they're made by major clans. Like a lot of the
Right.
towns are made by major clans. So like
Right.
one big family would move into the area, marry another family, and there. That's how this area was made.
Right.
Yeah, like Basal, like everyone's related to like one major clan, and
Right.
they can all follow the line, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and those guys are huge. Like they what?
Oh
Thank
man,
Sorry.
thanks for sharing.
isolation, man, isolation, isolation. Food.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
that's true. This the Bissau clan here is huge.
Yeah, they're all related.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny.
It's true, man. Like
Yeah.
I think the Basal, the what that clan, what's the name of the clan group? But like they have reunions. Well, you know what's cool though is that more and more families are doing like these big reunions, and more
Right.
families are actually taking the time to find out more about their family tree
Mm.
and going as far back as they can. Um, that clan I was talking about in Basau, they can go back 10 generations, man. Crazy, ten
Wow.
generations. So like in the 10 generations, I was looking at their family book, and from one couple spawned 6,000 plus people.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
What
in ten
family?
generations. Yeah, one family clan in Bus, and usually the name comes from you know an ancestor, you know, so that they can remember who's related to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, as they get older, their name will change depending on their personality.
Really?
Yeah, so you know they didn't have last names back then.
Right.
They just called you by what you do in the community and what your
Yeah.
stand is in the community.
Right. Like Smith for blacksmith.
I guess so. Yeah, it's very similar. Very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah, or by your personality. Like
Mm.
I was telling them, like, did he come in when I was explaining my great grandfather's name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you
I
did.
think
Yeah.
so.
So like that,
You
like
did.
they
Yeah.
named him Uwan because I guess. Well, they say he was a strong dude, but it could have just been that he was a big eater too.
Yeah.
So had multifaceted connections to the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can be Owatan as well.
Overly. Yeah.
Interesting. No, that's funny because actually, Audrey's Audrey's granddad was like, after we named Xavier after him or his middle name, he's like, "Oh, I want to change my name now to whichever." I'm like, "What? You can't do that." But
Yeah, we're
I,
still not used to that, right?
I guess he can, or I guess they did before. So interesting.
And that's why some names are like sometimes you if you talk about like your ancestor's name, people are never always sure if you really belong to a certain family line. Because even people would change their names, oh, because they like
Right.
that person.
Mm-hmm.
I like that person. I like his
Uh,
personality. I want to absorb that, so I'm gonna call myself that. Especially during those times, like for about 3 generations ago, when people were just registering their names for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and if they were moving, like when my family just moved down from the mountain and they re-registered in the lowland areas, you know, that's the reason why I think the O got dropped because they couldn't hear the O and they just heard the Watan. You know, like
Right.
Canada's a lot of Ilocano people. They go,
uh,
oh, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, you know, so I think they missed the O and they just wrote Watan. So like,
Mm-hmm.
that's one way your name will change, or people just wanted to change their name, or add
Mm-hmm.
a certain, you know, I like that person's personality, so I'm gonna add their name to my name and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. There's a lot of that went on in the Philippines.
it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could
And
see that.
like if you have like a name that sounds kind of Spanish,
Yeah.
you have to wonder like because it doesn't always necessarily mean you have Spanish blood. It could be a borrowed name. It could
Yeah.
be that you do have like maybe Spanish blood, Or it could have been you could have been from the family that lived in the lowlands, that lived on a certain landowner's area. You got a Christian name, and then that your ancestor ran up to the mountains to run away, but they kept their name.
Oh,
Because a lot of
true.
people, I mean, if you read that Scott writing, where he does the research about the language, like the name Igorot, and how like there's a lot of like Tagalog words that got kind of infused in certain Igorot language, and it's like, how the hell did that happen, right? That's because like when the Spanish came, one of the um, one of the places that people can run to was into the mountains to get away.
Right.
So a lot of lowland folks, oh, you might think, oh yeah, I'm just pure Igorot, but then you realize like, oh man, I might have uh, ancestry from folks who came from the lowlands and went up.
True.
Yeah, so there's that as well. Other than the obvious of like I have a Spanish ancestor, um, or that kind of thing. Because like Albert, right? Albert Masferi, they
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
have Spanish ancestors. There's no doubt about that. That's pretty real.
Have you done like those 23andMe stuff?
Yeah,
Or
my brother did.
oh
Well, he
really?
did the ancestry.com. Yeah, we found out it was so weird because remember the IIC when they were talking about like your family may have certain legendary stories.
Right.
A lot of these legends were kind of like made true through ancestry.com. Like we found out that we have a person of well, Mexico was pretty much the whole west coast of America, right? So when you say
Yeah.
Mexico during the
Up to
old times,
Oregon.
like during the yeah up to Oregon, when you think
Yeah.
of Mexico and you think of the Spanish galleon, like uh, you don't know what they mean. And it's not just that southern part of America. We're talking about the whole west coast as well of America. So we found that we had well for a long time. Some from my mom's side of the family, they said that we have a Mexican ancestor. I was like, huh? You have we what? Yeah, right. And it was hard to believe, but then I got like all this extra hair on me as well, so I don't know if that's from him or whatever, man. But like, anyways, when my brother did the genetic test, we
Yeah.
found out that we have a Native American ancestor that is around from. They say his migration came from around the New Mexico area, and
Really?
so this guy. This is my theory about it, okay? Because how the hell did he end up in the Philippines? So
Right.
like, during the Spanish galleon, they used to make people take tribes people from the Americas and turn them into soldiers, right? So my theory is that he came there as a soldier. He went to the Philippines in the Spanish from the Spanish ship as a soldier, and said, "Screw that! I'm gonna run into the mountains and run away." And because native cultures have so much in common in terms of
Yeah.
belief systems,
Yeah.
that I wouldn't be surprised if he like totally fit in with Igorot folks at that time over there. And so he probably ran up into the mountains, and they say he actually uh, moved into Abra first, married a woman there, and then moved into Masla. His family moved to Masla later on.
Hmm.
So it's an
Crazy.
interesting story. And then when we just found that out through Ancestry.com, we're like, no way, this whole thing is not just legend. There's some actual DNA evidence. The
Huh.
only thing is that like when you guys check your DNA, your brothers and sisters may have the certain genetics that you may not have. So if you have legends in your family about like where you're from and stuff, and you may not have it, but your brother and sister might have it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Yeah, it's
me,
not going to
so
be the same across the board.
Yeah.
You gotta do
that's
it, man. You gotta do it to see. I mean,
that's
I want to
super
do it. I
interesting.
haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's
Whoa,
super
whoa, whoa.
interesting.
I turned my camera off because I'm gonna keep eating. I'm still listening, obviously, but I don't want to be like on camera eating. Like
That's fine. This is like a half
No problem.
mukbang then. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Maybe when I get, I don't know, when I want to blow some money, I'll do it.
Do it on Black Friday. They usually have off
Oh,
sales.
right,
Yeah, that's
right.
why my brother did it. Huh?
Oh,
Yeah, they do. They do like sales on Ancestry.com and all that stuff.
do you know
what?
how much it was for the sale?
I can't remember, but it was like $60.
What? Oh,
I think it was like $60 or something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know
Well-
if that's half off because $120 might sounds a little steep to me, but yeah, find out the best one that has the best ratings, and I'm sure that there are ones that are like super detailed, like the ones that Oprah does. Man, those people actually find out who your actual ancestors are.
really? Which one is what? Which one's that?
I don't really know. I'm sure that's like $400 or
Oh,
something.
probably.
Like that. The one that Oprah uses for the celebrities,
Oh,
and they'll actually find out like who you're actually related to and stuff.
that's crazy.
But being the fact that like most of our relatives, I don't know if there was record keeping for them, because most of the
It's true.
record keeping comes from the Spanish,
Yeah.
and I think lowlanders would have more record keeping than we would.
True.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Did you find it? Still awake, man. My kid's awake.
I
She's
know.
looking for her bookmark.
She's still awake. Tell
Yeah,
people what
man.
time it is over there.
Yeah, what time is it?
12:37 a.m.
Oh
No,
my
I sound like a bad dad.
Oh my god.
No, my
Oh,
kid
sorry.
my kid yesterday, yeah, he was up past midnight, and like I was trying to get him to sleep past midnight. Like I don't know what was happening. He was so awake. He was wide awake.
Wide awake. Did he sleep late the day before that, or?
I think he's sleeping late every day.
Oh yeah, no, that's my kids too. My older
That's the
kid,
problem.
she's motivated to sleep early because she wants to wake up early so she can use like the phone without us telling her off, right? She thinks that we don't know that she's doing that. Yeah, I know she's doing that.
That's hilarious.
But I don't mind as long as we're not awake.
That's funny.
Plus she actually goes to sleep early. She feels sleepy. And she used to fight, like just like my other kid here. My older kid used to want to stay up all the time. Now she goes
Right.
to sleep because she's motivated to sleep, and it's just this one over here. Oh baby, you go to sleep
Yeah,
now.
it's true.
Sleep now. You go
Okay.
to sleep, baby, please.
So we're still gonna keep talking because we'll keep brainstorming, but I think I'm gonna end the
Yeah.
I'm gonna end the stream just because I don't want to give away all our plans. No, I'm just but yeah, it's been going on for like 60 minutes already, so hold on, let's just end the stream now. Thanks guys for if anybody tuned in. Hopefully well actually the next one I'm thinking maybe we could talk about something like something about performances and how you feel about that compared to how Igorots were showcased in like North America and that type of thing. Give that a thought.
Early
And
20th century.
yeah. We'll talk about that next time. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks guys.
That can get heavy.
Yeah, I know exactly. But all right.
Thank you, people, for joining in, and yeah, peace. Stay
Where are
healthy,
they
stay
watching
safe,
this?
be well. What?
Where are they
know.
watching? Where are they watching this?
It's on Igorot World. There's like
Oh, for real?
I think it's just Justice and Neo. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, a
That's
couple
cool.
of our youth.
Well, next time I'll yeah, for the next link,